Love yourself first before you begin to love somebody else. A lesson that I learned the hard way. Bittersweet. There was a time when someone told me if I loved myself. And I've mentioned the story before, but I'll say it again because it's something that we overlook so many times in our life. So many of us overlook in our lives many times. And recently it's seeing this play out in someone else's life at the moment. And I learned that lesson years ago the hard way. And because of it, it made me ask, it made me wonder about that question, if I love myself. Because if I loved myself, what would that mean? If I loved myself, I would be seeking a relationship. You know what? Not just seeking a relationship, but I would be seeking relationships that would empower me, that were headed towards the same destination that I want to head to as far as goals are concerned, professional and personal. And the moment that I believe I guess if someone wanted to go live in Fiji, and let's say someone else wanted to go live in Fiji, and I wanted to live in, let's say, in Fukushima, Japan. And for whatever reasons, we were both determined on living those sorts of lives or to live those sorts of lives would be complete and honest with us, would make us content, complete, happy. But when you get into a relationship where one wants to go the other way, where the other one doesn't, I think eventually one of you is going to crack one of you. Because whether the Fukushima or the Fiji person wins, one of you will realize, you know what, I never wanted to be here, I wanted to be somewhere else. And I think Bruce Lee calls this to become the unnatural natural, I believe. Or at least that's the way that I took it, where you start becoming something that the unnatural natural. You start becoming something that you're not, that you really are not. And I think we start building up an identity that's false. And eventually it comes out eventually. And me with my with what I've lived through in life, I'm at a point that wherever I lay my head is home. But as long as I could sleep, or as long as I feel safe and wanted, comfortable, warm. I'll call that home. And lately I've been building up my armor, getting more capitalistic ammo to travel, to take on the world, or to see more of the world. Because I don't get it when I see people that yeah, I'm gonna go take a trip around the world, but for what? To go be a fucking what the hell's a nosy person called? I forget. There's a nickname for them. But to be a person that simply sticks their nose in things to be nosy and not to contribute anything to it. I don't want to pop up in some city or in some town somewhere around the world and be like, yeah, what's this? What's that? What's this? And have nothing to contribute to their culture or to their community or to their neighborhood or to their home. Because I am curious about the world. I don't have this this wonder, man, I wonder what it's like to be called dad, be called daddy, and to live at and to work at an office for 40 years and be part of a union. Fuck that. That's not me. That is not me. I've been offered that. And you know, at times I do wonder, I do doubt myself. I'd be like, man, did I make the right decision? But then again, I remember where it is in life that I want to go. Where it is in life. Or that I think I'm going to. Because it's not guaranteed. My success is definitely not guaranteed. I don't think anyone's success is guaranteed. But if I would have if I would have tapped out back in the day and said, oh man, you know what, it seems like this relationship's gonna work out, but I'm gonna have to give up my curiosity about the world, about learning this or that, seeing, meeting these sorts of people, because then I'm gonna have the husband the husband mentality, and you know, and to become a family man. And to me, to become a family man is not, it's not like what I see a bunch of dickheads doing, which is putting in the minimum amount of effort into it. You know, I've got a job and weekends at home and barbecue and call the familiars, and we'll live life that way. No, fuck that. I've seen that. I've seen people rot that way. I've seen people age that way. And I've seen them get their bottles of Patron, their six-pack, their ice-cold six-pack, wait for the weekend, watch a game, go to their home. You go to their home and that's what you're doing. They're just watching the game. Watching the game. As if Man, I've seen a bunch of other adults throwing a ball really could get you off. It doesn't get me off. I've been to a world, not a world, but I've been to a championship game once. And I also been to a regular season game. And while I was there, both times, it was more about the company more than watching the fucking sport for me. But then I thought, man, I'm paying this much. Well, actually, I got hooked up twice, but I can't imagine myself paying so much to sit down and see some people get paid a shitload of money for fucking around, for playing. I've lost my train of thought here. Again, I want to have Chinese food in China. I want to have Thai food in Thailand. I want to visit some of these supposedly most haunted places on earth. Go to some of these places that there are certain places around the world that are that haven't been stepped on by man very much. I've been to places in the world where man, it's just not a lot of human contact, and not a lot of foreigners, not a lot of new faces. Yes, when I say love yourself, talk to yourself. Sit down and make a note about it. Ask yourself these questions. What are you good at? What are you not good at? What do you enjoy doing? What don't you enjoy doing? And pursue that map that you describe with those questions. If you don't do it, you're going to be influenced by whoever has the biggest wallet, or whoever has the nicest ass you could sleep next to. And it's to me it's a challenge, because you just see so many people sometimes. I just tap out and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna gamble everything away so I could just end up old and alone. Old and alone. I've seen married people without connection. So I don't think being old is, or being alone is something that applies only to the unmarried. And that's it for now.